N400, Part 12. 50. Have you ever? Yes/no questions. Full vocabulary with easy definitions to help you memorize easily. During the U.S. citizenship interview, the officer will ask you these questions, so please try to remember all these questions and word definitions. This helps you pass your citizenship interview successfully. Have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen in writing or any other way?
No.
What does it mean to claim to be a U.S. citizen?
To state you are a U.S. citizen.
Do you know what claim means?
To say something is true.
Have you ever registered to vote in any federal, state, or local election in the United States?
No.
What does vote mean?
To elect new leaders.
Have you ever voted in any federal, state, or local election in the United States?
No.
What does it mean to register?
To sign up.
Do you now have or did you ever have a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country?
No.
Do you know what order of nobility means?
Like king or queen.
Can you explain what hereditary title is?
A royal title, like prince or princess.
Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution?
No.
Do you know what confined means?
To be kept in a place.
What does declared mean?
To be told something publicly.
Can you define mental institution?
Hospital for people with mental problems.
Can you explain what legally incompetent means?
Having mental problems.
Have you ever not filed a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident?
No.
Do you know what file a tax return means?
To send tax paperwork to the government.
Do you owe any overdue federal, state, or local taxes?
No.
What does owe mean?
To have a debt.
Can you explain what overdue is?
Past a deadline.
What does it mean to owe taxes?
To owe the government money.
Have you called yourself a non-U.S. resident on a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident?
No.
Can you define non-U.S. resident?
Not a U.S. resident.
Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world?
No.
Have you ever been a member of, or in any way associated, either directly or indirectly, with a terrorist organization?
No.
Can you define terrorist organization?
An organization that uses violence against people.
Have you ever been a member of, or in any way associated, either directly or indirectly, with the Communist Party?
No.
Do you understand what Communist Party is?
Like China, North Korea.
Have you ever been a member of, or in any way associated, either directly or indirectly, with any other totalitarian party?
No.
What does totalitarian party mean?
Government controls everything and people have no power.
Have you ever advocated, either directly or indirectly, the overthrow of any government by force or violence?
No.
Can you define overthrow of a government?
To remove a government from power.
What does advocate mean?
To support.
Have you ever persecuted, either directly or indirectly, any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion?
No.
What is national origin?
Where a person is from.
What does religion mean?
A belief in God.
Do you understand what persecute means?
To hurt someone badly.
Did you work for or associate in any way with any government in any area occupied by, allied with, or established with the help of the Nazi government of Germany?
No.
Do you know what Nazi is?
The party under Hitler.
Between March 23, 1933 and May 8, 1945, did you work for or associate in any way with the Nazi government of Germany?
No.
Were you ever involved in any way with genocide?
No.
What does it mean to involve?
To take part in.
Do you understand what genocide means?
To kill a whole race.
Do you work for any German, Nazi, or SS military unit, paramilitary unit, self-defense unit, vigilante unit, citizen unit, police unit, government agency or office, extermination camp, concentration camp, prisoner of war camp, prison, labor camp, or transit camp?
No.
Do you understand what prisoner of a war camp is?
A place to keep enemy soldiers.
Do you know what extermination camp is?
A place to keep people before killing them.
Can you define transit camp?
A place to keep people temporarily.
Can you define SS military unit?
An organization under the Nazi government.
What is concentration camp?
A place to keep prisoners of war.
Were you ever involved in killing or trying to kill someone?
No.
Do you know what kill means?
To cause a death of a person.
Were you ever involved in any way with torture?
No.
What does torture mean?
To hurt someone physically.
Were you ever involved in badly hurting or trying to hurt a person on purpose?
No.
Were you ever involved in forcing or trying to force someone to have any kind of sexual contact or relations?
No.
Can you define forcing sexual contact or relations?
To touch someone's body when they don't want it.
Were you ever involved in not letting someone practice his or her religion?
No.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in military unit?
No.
What does it mean to participate?
To be part of.
What is military unit?
A group works for government.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in paramilitary unit?
No.
Do you understand what paramilitary unit means?
Like a military group, but is not official.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in self-defense unit?
No.
Can you define self-defense unit?
A group that protects a place.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in police unit?
No.
What does police unit mean?
A group that protects community.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in vigilante unit?
No.
What is vigilante unit?
A group acts like the police, but are not the police.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in guerrilla group?
No.
Can you define guerrilla group?
A group uses weapons to attack the government.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in rebel group?
No.
Do you understand what rebel group is?
A group fights a government.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in insurgent organization?
No.
Can you explain what insurgent organization means?
A group fights a government.
Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in militia?
No.
What does militia mean?
An army does not work for a government.
Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in prison or jail?
No.
What is prison or jail?
A place where prisoners are kept.
Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in detention facility?
No.
What does detention facility mean?
A place where people are forced to stay.
Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in any other place where people were forced to stay?
No.
Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in prison camp?
No.
Do you know what prison camp means?
A place to keep enemy soldiers.
Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in labor camp?
No.
Can you explain what labor camp means?
A place to force people to work.
Were you ever a part of any group, or did you ever help any group, unit, or organization that used a weapon against any person or threatened to do so?
No.
What does it mean to threaten?
To warn to hurt someone.
Can you define weapon?
Like a knife or gun.
Did you ever receive any type of military, paramilitary, or weapons training?
No.
Do you understand what weapons training means?
To learn how to use gun.
Did you ever sell, give, or provide weapons to any person or help another person sell, give, or provide weapons to any person?
No.
Did you ever recruit, enlist, conscript, or use any person under 15 years of age to serve in or help an armed force or group?
No.
Can you define conscript?
To require someone to join the army.
Do you know what enlist means?
To sign up in the armed forces.
Can you define recruit?
To ask.
Did you ever use any person under 15 years of age to do anything that helped or supported people in combat?
No.
What does combat mean?
To fight in war.
Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested?
No.
Do you know what offense means?
A minor crime.
Do you know what commit a crime means?
To do something that breaks the law.
Can you explain what a crime is?
An action that breaks the law.
Can you define arrested?
Handcuffed by the police.
Have you ever been charged with committing, attempting to commit, or assisting in committing a crime or offense?
No.
Can you define charged?
Police tell you that you did something illegal.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime or offense?
No.
Can you explain what convicted means?
To be found guilty of a crime.
Have you ever been arrested, cited, or detained by any law enforcement officer, including any immigration official or any official of the U.S. Armed Forces for any reason?
No.
What does detained mean?
Held in custody by police.
Do you understand what cited means?
Given a ticket by police.
Have you ever been placed in an alternative sentencing or a rehabilitative program, for example, diversion, deferred prosecution, withheld adjudication, deferred adjudication?
No.
Do you know what diversion means?
A different program to avoid jail time.
Can you define deferred prosecution or deferred adjudication?
Such as community service.
What is rehabilitative program?
A program to help someone to restore health.
What is alternative sentencing?
A different way to punish someone.
Can you define withheld adjudication?
Like a second chance.
Have you ever received a suspended sentence, been placed on probation, or been paroled?
No.
Can you explain what probation is?
You report to an officer regularly instead of jail time.
Do you know what sentence is?
A punishment under the law.
Do you know what parole means?
The early release of a prisoner.
Do you understand what suspended sentence means?
Delaying of a sentence.
Have you ever been a habitual drunkard?
No.
What does habitual drunkard mean?
Someone who drinks too much alcohol regularly.
Have you ever been in jail or prison?
No.
Have you ever been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution?
No.
What does it mean to procure?
To find someone for sex.
Can you explain what prostitute means?
Someone who has sex for money.
Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics?
No.
Can you explain what controlled substances means?
You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions.
Can you define illegal drugs or narcotics?
Like heroin or cocaine.
Can you define smuggle?
To take things to a country illegally.
Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit?
No.
Do you understand what immigration benefit means?
Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship.
What does obtain mean?
To get something.
Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time?
No.
Have you ever helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally?
No.
Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States?
No.
What is misrepresentation?
To lie or give wrong information.
What is public benefit?
Welfare, like food stamps.
Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony?
No.
What is dependent?
Someone who relies on another person.
Can you define pay alimony?
To pay money to ex-spouse after a divorce.
Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling?
No.
Do you know what gamble means?
To play a game for money.
Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading?
No.
What is misleading?
To give a wrong idea.
What does false mean?
Not true.
Can you define fraudulent?
To claim something that is not true.
Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States?
No.
Do you know what lie means?
To say something that is not true.
Can you define admission into the United States?
The right to enter the United States.
Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States?
No.
What does deport mean?
To force a person to leave a country.
Do you understand what exclude means?
To prevent from entering the United States.
Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings?
No.
What does deportation proceedings mean?
Process of removing a person.
Do you understand what rescission means?
To take back a decision.
Have you ever been ordered removed, excluded, or deported from the United States?
No.
Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings, including administratively closed proceedings, currently pending against you?
No.
Do you know what pending means?
Waiting to happen.
Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What does U.S. Armed Forces mean?
U.S. military, Navy, Air Force.
Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated, or disciplined, or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What is disciplined?
To be punished for doing something wrong.
What does court-martialed mean?
To go to military court.
What does discharge mean?
A soldier leaves the military.
Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien?
No.
Do you know what alien is?
Not a U.S. citizen.
Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What is exemption?
Special permission not to do something.
Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What does drafted mean?
Being selected as a soldier.
Do you know what avoid being drafted means?
To prevent being selected as a soldier.
Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
Can you define deserted?
To abandon.
Did you ever register for the Selective Service?
No.
What does Selective Service mean?
Services in armed forces under law.
Are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and 26th birthdays?
No.
Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States?
Yes.
Can you define form of government of the United States?
Republic.
Do you understand what Constitution is?
It is the supreme law of the land.
Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Yes.
Do you understand what an oath means?
A promise.
Can you define oath of allegiance?
A promise to be loyal to the United States.
Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States?
Yes.
If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States?
Yes, I'm willing to.
Can you explain what bear arms means?
To own or use a gun.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces?
Yes, I'm willing to.
Do you understand what non-combatant services means?
Services that do not involve combat.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction?
Yes, I'm willing to.
Can you define civilian?
A person who is not in the military.
What does work of national importance mean?
Tasks that are important to a nation.
What does civilian direction mean?
A direction from a person who is not in the military.